Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. As I wrap up this week of telling stories from my encounters with a gravedigger and the wisdom he so often shared with me about life and death and faith and God, I want to turn to the very beginning, to my first encounter with the gravedigger before we really knew each other too well. We had fallen into conversation as he and some others were filling in a grave after a funeral, and as I reflected at the time, we were standing starched collar next to blue collar. It was one of those moments when, as a pastor, you wait to see what God has in store for you, and I wasn't disappointed then or in the years to come with this man. Finally, the gravedigger gestured to the casket, which the other workers were starting to lower. "You know, Reverend," he said, "I seen 'em come and I seen 'em go, all different types. They got different boxes, they got different services, but I dig the hole the same way every time." Now, all these years later, as I reflect on it, I think the gravedigger was talking about grace. We are alike in our need for grace, and we are alike in receiving it too. All our pretenses, all our wealth, all our self-importances don't really matter. Grace does. And it is a gift to us all. Then, many years later, I was standing over the gravedigger's burial site. His long journey was over, and I stood there remembering all we had shared. I bent down and put my hand on the dirt, like what he had spent his life working in. I kept my hand there on the earth, still thinking and remembering. I had all the education, but so often he seemed to have the wisdom. In that same very first visit, we had talked for a while, and my interest had been piqued, and so before he could say anything, I asked him a question. "What's it like to be a gravedigger?" I said. "Well, Reverend," he said, "what I'm about to say to you is going to sound strange, but it's true. Down there at the bottom of them holes, the world looks a whole lot different down there than it does up here. And Reverend, sometimes down there you can see better." I didn't doubt him at all. I thought the world must look a lot different from the bottom of a grave than it does on top. The choices must be clearer. Life must fall into better focus down there. And down there, Jesus must seem a whole lot more important. I smiled and patted the earth. "Goodbye, my friend," I said. "Now you see the face of God." Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.